Well, we'll work it out because no, it's 25%. Hi guys, if anyone's there,
excuse me.
we're doing the normal thing, pulling up the thing so we can see the comments on the page. Lisa, search for the thing. Here we go. Look, Tiny Houses Australia. Click on it. Someone will be there.
What?
There'll be a post saying we're live.
Is that it? No, that's a promotion.
Oh God, we do this every week. Hi guys. There's a guy, maybe, or a lady. Someone's there.
Okay, I clicked on something.
So anyway.
Hello guys.
Hi guys. Welcome along to another Friday night
Hello.
drink session. Give us a shout out. Say Tanya's there. Hey Tanya. Honey,
You know we can type as well.
why are you commenting on our own thing? That's
Because
weird.
I can.
Yeah, that'd be right. How are we all? Hope you guys are well. Hope you've had a good week. How's our week been?
Yeah, it's been good. Been fast. It's been a quick one actually.
Kate, Christine, how you guys going? So yeah, it's been a busy week for me. I've had probably 14-hour days and getting home at 1 in the morning and 2 hours sleep.
And you're off to work again for the weekend?
Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow, going regional Victoria for for work, of course. So a bit of a difference this weekend to last weekend. Last weekend we were not sure why my phone's playing up this week. We got the comments there anyway. Last weekend, as some of you guys might have seen, we were up at Mount Buller, weren't we?
Yeah.
At Living in Cloud 9. For those of you that did check out our live feed, I know we were trying to do the live feed, the Friday night thing from Carl's house up at Living in Cloud 9, but I got home late from work, so we ended up doing it from this couch last Friday.
But on Saturday night we managed to tune in and
so we did
from the tiny house.
Yeah, so we did another live thing. Was it from 8 o'clock?
Yeah, sometime.
So 8 o'clock, an extra bonus.
Hey Kat.
Hey Kat, an extra bonus session live from the tiny house. So
we did promise during that live feed that we were going to do it again during the day to show the doors opening up, but we didn't get a chance. Number one, we had to film the tour for the YouTube channel as well as enjoy the tiny house, and relax. And
did we enjoy it?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we have to give some feedback to Carl, so Carl's waiting on our feedback, so we'll have to.
Yeah, maybe he thinks we didn't like the place.
We love the place, Carl. If you see this, if you're watching. Yeah,
Carl, if you watch this, big thumbs up. I am going to email you before I go to bed.
Thanks, Kat. So Kat just put the link there again.
There we go.
Well, a lot of the people that are here already know Kat and know that he's our moderator. So
yeah, so those that don't know, Carteret is our watchdog slash moderator slash business partner, silent partner. Woof. So I'm giving up on this. I'm actually going to use Lisa's phone for the comment. I don't know.
Yeah,
so no, I liked it. It's a big place, 10 metres long. Let us know in the comments if any of you guys saw our Saturday night feed from last week. And let us know what you guys thought.
Hi, Winston.
Hey, Winston. So let us know what you guys thought of Carl's tiny house last week.
We've got Tanya, Katie, Christine, Kat.
There's a few silent watchers, like lurkers, because there's like 15 people watching.
There's 17 people popping in, tuning in. So I don't know, guys. Can you see the numbers, or is it just us that can see the numbers?
No, that's public information as well, so they can see how popular or not popular we are. So there we go. Don't be shy, people. Say hello. Kate caught the second half.
Hi, Wes.
Hey, Wes. That's Wes from Custom Fit Portable Building. So shout out to Wes from Custom Fit. We met him at the Melbourne Home Show. Colleen.
He's got a good memory. He remembers people's names, where they're from, their businesses. I'm like, who? So forgive me.
That's all right.
Just my memory's short, so.
Cool. Emily watched the rerun the other day. Glad you guys liked it. But the one thing it highlighted to me was that a young family could definitely live in a space like that. That is probably the outer limits in terms of, I can't see anyone really realistically going bigger than that on a single trailer in this country. I'm sure it's only a matter of time. Someone's probably already done it.
Emily's saying it's a bit big for her though. She
Yeah.
likes it, but it's a bit big. Mine's big. It was a bit big for me, like by a metre.
One of the
I'm
first.
doing a 9 metre, as you guys know, but
Yeah.
the 9 metre might end up being too big for me, and I don't know. But
Well, it will if you're in the relationship.
I'd rather it
and
be
you're on your own.
too big than too small. So
Yeah. As you guys know, and I've mentioned this in interviews and presentations, and it's the absolute truth, because you know me, I don't make stuff up. But the very first tiny house that I ever came across was Proto House. If you Protohaus. If you're not sure, look it up. It's a beautiful house. Owned by who's? Owned by built and owned by Anne and Darren Holly of Washington DC. That was the very first tiny house that I saw. But probably the second and third ones that I saw, when I dug into it a bit more, I was looking and seeing these park model homes in the States. Now, do a Google, don't do it now because you're hanging out with us. But afterwards, if you're not sure what a park model is, do a Google image search for a USA park model home. They are limited at 400 square feet to be called a park model. We're talking like 35 foot long, 12 foot wide on 4 or 5 axles. They are movable, but they're serious.
They're big, and I think they're lovely, but I find that they're all got the same
kind of
design, floor plan.
Yeah.
They don't really change.
Yeah. Whereas with what we know as a normal tiny house, there's an enormous range of floor plans and layouts and really cool design ideas. But the park models seem to be pretty standard. But the reason I mention that is because of Emily's comment. Because I thought there's seriously something wrong with me when I was looking at these 400 square foot park model homes, and I was thinking, the hell would I want all that space for?
Yeah,
I don't want all that
space either. Katie's saying she's looking at 2, so she's definitely not a minimalist, but she wants one for her kids. So that's fair enough. It's all relative, really.
Yeah, and even if you got 2 the size of Carl's place. I mean, Carl's is 10 meters long. Interior, 2.5 wide, so it's 25 square meters. You get 2 of them. I know he's got a couple of lofts, right? But if you got 2 of those next to each other, that's 50 square meters. That's still like the size of a typical 1-bedroom apartment. So
it's relative to your situation and how many people you're looking to live in a tiny house. So if you've got a family, if you've got young kids or teens or young adults living with you, then it makes more sense to have the 2 side by side. I mean, I've got a girlfriend who wants the 2 just for herself, and so be it. So she loves the whole concept, and for her, it's more about the affordability rather than minimalism. So,
because it's still ridiculously cheap compared to, and that's the thing. There's this ongoing argument that people say, "Oh, but per square foot, tiny houses are actually more expensive than regular houses," but they're forgetting the fact that even in a tiny house, you still have to have a bathroom, you still have to have a kitchen. And it's really, and builders, if there's any of you guys out there that are builders, you'd agree with me, that it's dead cheap to build big open spaces, to have a big living room. But the fact is, and the thing that these people are just missing is the fact that, but don't worry, who cares what it is per square foot? You're paying $60,000 and you got a fucking house. You don't have to go into a mortgage, to $300,000, $400,000 mortgage.
Again, I look at that, when they compare the square footage, it's not, you can't really, because it's like comparing a mass-produced wedding gown in China to a bridal couture designer. Yeah. That's custom made to fit your body. Yeah. You're going to pay a lot more for that service. So it's a niche market. And
again, I've got to dig up the interview.
The tiny house is a niche market, and it's designed specifically for that person.
Yep. And I've got to dig up the interview with that I keep mentioning over the years with Jay Schaefer, because I saw an interview online with Jay.
Hi, Leonie.
Hey, Leonie. So I saw an interview with Jay Schaefer who talks about that very fact, how he was talking about one of his early designs before he left Tumbleweed. For those of you who don't know, he's founded Tumbleweed Tiny Houses and then parted ways from the company, and then he started his own business, current business, Four Lights Tiny Houses. in the States. But there was an interview on YouTube where Jay was talking about it's almost like a kitchen that you wear around you because it sort of wraps around you and everything's within reach. And he says it's like going and getting a custom-made suit. You get it measured to your body size, and so a tiny house.
It's not just the design aspect. It's also, you know, you got to. Well, it is design. It's about your lifestyle. Why do you want a tiny house? What are you going to use the tiny house for besides living in it? Are you going to travel with it? Are you going to put it in the one place? Are you
going to run a business from it? Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that we had a trailer inquiry. You can always look at this.
Joanne saying hello from Kenya. Well, there you go.
Hey, Joanne. Yeah, I got an email from Joanne the other day.
What's she doing in Kenya?
I don't know what she's doing. Joanne, tell us what you're doing in Kenya. She's probably working, I would imagine, but she's looking at... I can't remember whether she was after a trailer quote for when she gets back or whether she was asking about the land. I don't know. Forgive me, Joanne. But, yeah, so we've got a viewer from Kenya. Stick your hand up if you're further away from us than Kenya. Kenya's probably the record. But I got an email the other day from a guy who was after a quote for a trailer. And I said, one of the things you need to look at is, in fact, no, it wasn't. I'm putting together a proper page about our trailers for the website. And I'm sitting there writing the content. It's not finished yet. I've taken it off the website until it's finished. But the point that I'm making on that page is you need to look at when you're looking at a tiny house trailer, what are you going to be using it for? As Lisa said, are you going to be a stay-at-home person? Are you going to be working 50 hours a week and just using it to live and sleep in? Or are you going to be running a business from it? Do you love to cook? Do you have a partner that's going to be home 24/7?
I'm with Cart. Cart said earlier he's going to have a work studio aside from the tiny house, which is what I think I'm going to be having to do as well.
Well, yeah, because you guys can't see it, but on that side, which one's the sewing? That's the overlocker?
That's the overlocker.
So there's a commercial overlocker there, and there's a commercial sewing machine there.
Which I haven't used for like 3 years, but that's not because I don't want to sew. It's just I've been really busy with the tiny house side of things.
And they weigh probably 150 kilos each.
And they were a gift from my mother. So
yeah. Where's your mum? Your mum's not here yet.
She might join in later. She might have forgot. Who knows?
Who knows?
But I will be using them again. I don't really want to part with them, but that'll be.
Oh, they're expensive. They're worth it.
They're heavy. They're so heavy. So I'm gonna have to. I have to
get a 4.5 ton trailer just to carry your bloody sewing machines. But there was a video.
Kate understands.
Yeah. Bryce actually did a video recently over in Living Big in a Tiny House, and he's gallivanting around. He's making too much money. He's gallivanting around the United States at the moment, interviewing people. But he did a video recently from the States with a guy who's a tiny house builder, and he built his own tiny house. But that was one video, and then a separate video, he took Bryce through his solar-powered workshop, and it was a smaller tiny house. Mobile workshop, where he's got all his tools in there. He rolls out the drop saw on that's on the table on casters, wheels that out down a ramp, so he can go to his clients' build sites and build there.
I'm just thinking, because I'm going to be using them anyway, and they're going to be in a studio, and they're going to be on the land, I might use it as a communal thing where people can come and sew their own curtains if they want to, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I'm not in the fashion business or doing anything business-wise in the sewing side of things. I'd rather make the use out of the machines. I don't want them to just go to waste and sit there and collecting dust, so I might use them as a communal thing that others can come and use, especially if they're on the land building and they want to sew their own curtains or something.
Yeah.
Same with the art supplies. I may as well just open that up and...
Yeah, we can discuss that.
What?
Maybe we can have like a...
I'm thinking out loud. Well, they're my stuff. I can do what I want with them.
True. What can I do with my stuff?
You don't have any stuff.
I don't, because I'm a minimalist.
Oh dear.
So...
A quilting workshop. Well, that's a thing. We could make things and donate stuff and have some sort of craft hobby.
Or make things and sell things.
Day or... You never know.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Having with the facilities that are going to be available on the property, I'm assuming you guys can hear us okay with the audio. We're still working out how to. This is just from the MacBook Air with the inbuilt mic, so that's how we've always done it. So I'm assuming you guys are right.
Since we've been on Facebook, that's how we've been doing it.
Yeah.
Actually, I missed the little mic.
Yeah, we are. I was paying $140 for that mic, so we're going to work out how to use it.
Bragger.
Make stuff and sell them at the stud.
At the stud.
Yes.
It's going to be known as the stud now. You know that.
I thought that was me.
You're my stud.
Yeah, go on, get at it. So, yeah, the property that we're going to be moving onto in September is a former horse stud. So, the reason I mentioned that is because there is a facility there where we're going to be running our workshops from. We're going to be working, video 10, audio 10, cool. Thank you guys for the feedback on the audio. At the property, there is a 500 square metre auditorium that, where they used to bring the horses out and auction the horses. So we've got that, and that's going to be renovated. So we're going to be using that for some of our indoor.
Just laughing at Winston's comment.
That's all right.
He's a stud. He's my stud muffin.
Yeah, good on you. So that we're going to be able to run indoor workshops, so craft workshops, art workshops, that sort of thing as well.
Hi, Samantha. Just reading Wes's comment.
Oh, cool. You got a Wes has got a now. Wes, correct us if I'm wrong. You're out past Pakenham. You're now near not Bonnie. I'm thinking Bonnie Doon. It's not Bonnie Doon because that's nowhere near Doncaster.
No, that's out on the way to Mansfield.
Yeah. Anyway. Hey, Sam. So, but yeah, where's...
The boys have joined us, Aussie Tiny Houses.
Hi.
Hi.
So, I wasn't sure if they were going to be joining. I didn't know you could actually do that. I didn't know that a page could join a Facebook Live feed.
We can.
I thought it was only... But anyway, welcome along. For those, everybody, meet Fabio and Luke. I'm not sure if it's the two of them. Guys, let us know if you're both there. Fabio and Luke, the guys behind Aussie Tiny Houses.
It's Nana Goon.
No, Goon, that was it. So that's another reason why we need to come out and see you, Wes, and do an interview. You're classy, ain't you? That's another reason, Wes, why we need to come out and do an interview with you, because if there's a salvage yard next door, then we can go out and interview the guys at the salvage yard.
So yeah, Aussie Tiny Houses, Fabio and Luke. Darren was on the phone to them earlier today.
Yeah, and guys, let us know if it's both of you there, or if I'm talking to Fabio or Luke, or both of you. But thank you to the guys at...
Cart's just put up a link.
Cool, thanks, Cart. So yeah, thanks to the guys at Aussie Tiny Houses. I had a long chat with them this morning about how we can work together and talking about what they've been doing. Their work looks amazing. Lisa and I are going to be heading up to the Sunshine Coast in the next month or two.
We haven't decided, but the sooner the better. I want to get up there and interview you guys. So.
Yeah, so we might put the word out if there's any DIYers up in the Sunshine Coast that are also building. While we're up there, we'd love to. We might have a meetup. And well, we definitely will have a meetup.
When we go up there, we'll definitely organise a meetup for make the most of our stay and.
Yeah.
And I don't think we told Russ or Chris. Russ and Chris we speak to on a regular basis.
We still never met the guys.
Well, they're long-term followers, and we've got this ongoing group conversation. And they've invited us up there. We've invited them down here, but we haven't met each other yet. So yeah.
It's going to be weird though meeting people.
Same with Cart. We haven't met Cart. So
yeah. Cart's been hanging around like a bad smile for the last 3.5, 4 years or something, and I still haven't met the guy. But it's going to be weird meeting people that we've talked to for so long and never actually met.
Yeah. We haven't met many of our followers.
That's right.
Can you imagine?
I got a message from Joe Everson at Tennessee Tiny Homes this morning. We sort of semi-regularly, every now and then have some Facebook
Darren
messages.
wrote it out in the other night, so...
It's weird. I had this dream that Joe Everson from Tennessee Tiny Homes
moved to Australia,
relocated to Australia, and became our live-in builder of choice. He was like our builder guy on the team. So I told him about it. and he told me to get me out of his dreams.
And get into your car. Or...
Yeah, get out of, you know.
Anyway. So yeah, it'd be good to go up and meet the guys at Aussie Tiny Houses and everyone else at the meetup. I look forward to doing the interview actually. More editing for me to do. Yeah,
we're getting our head around it. I mean, look, we're not professionals at this. We're not filmmakers, and I'm not, But
people know that. I think people want that. People want real, casual and unedited and.
I mean, you're studying. I'm not like a.
Thanks, John.
I'm not a model. I'm not, But
I don't know. You're wearing your scarf. You're a bit sexy tonight.
I'll get out. Anyway, you told me to wear this. Anyway, so yeah, we're getting our head around the whole YouTube thing and the video things.
Thanks, Kate. If you guys have got any questions for Aussie Tiny Homes, ask away. That's why they've joined in tonight. So ask them anything.
Planning on getting to Geelong in July. Yeah, so with our face-to-face meetups, we're doing a favour for you guys in Geelong. So we're doing our next meetup in Geelong. So it's like 124 kilometres away, but we'll get there. That's fine.
You're always complaining about the travel, but you never complain in the car.
I don't complain about
the drive.
I don't complain about the travel on Friday nights. I'm just going to plant myself on the couch. I was telling Luke and Fabio this morning about it. I said this is just so much easier rather than doing a 200-kilometre round trip to Melbourne. But your battery's low. Keep talking. I'm going to plug it into the charger.
I don't know what to talk about.
Yes.
I do want to ask you guys if you've tuned into our YouTube channel and looked at any of our videos, especially the vlogs, because I've been working on the vlogs, and just let us know if there's anything you want to see, anything you don't want to see, just to give us a bit of an idea or indication of what content you want to see and what we can put up there for you. That's sort of what I want to know. So ask anything to Aussie Tiny Houses. Anything else you want to say?
But yeah, they're the boys are underway. They've got they've already delivered a couple of tiny houses to clients, and they're soon going to be working on their fourth one. So they're starting to churn them out, and
also
we've heard nothing but good things about them. So
shout out to Jeff over in Perth. There's a business coming out of Perth.
Yeah, Tiny Homes WA, check them out. I had a chat this morning with Jeff, who's over there, and they've got an open day on the 25th of June, I believe, maybe.
I wasn't sure if it had already been or not.
No, it's coming up. So they've got an open day, where they've got their this weekend. Not sure, but it'll be on the. Forgive me, but it'll be on the Tiny Homes WA.
We'll post it later.
Yeah, don't go look now. Hang out with us. But yeah, they've got an open day. They've done their prototype, and they've got their prototype open for display. It looks nice from what we can see. But so it's good to see businesses that are popping up around the place. There's a business, Tiny Houses to Go, that's just started up in the Yarra Valley down here in Melbourne. So we're going to be going out to interview Tom Neal and his business partners in the next few weeks. We need to organise that and to get out. I know we keep saying it. Go out and see Murray again.
The Melbourne Home Show might be a good one to attend this August, because there's going to be tiny houses on display in August.
So they're aiming to get a few tiny houses on display at the Melbourne Home Show. I know that they've got one definitely that's confirmed that are going to be in, and that's Wagon House from Tasmania. So Kylie and her sister from Wagon House in Tasmania.
No, it's too big, Winston. We'd have to get a hire vehicle to tow the trailer that we've got in the backyard. But when we set up over in the land, we'll invite people over.
Yeah, we'll have a housewarming, field warming thing. So we'll do that. But we'll be taking so we'll be taking ourselves to the Geelong meetup, and Aussie Tiny Houses on Facebook. They're on their Facebook page and also on Instagram as well. They're on the Sunshine Coast, so very jealous. the guys said it was pretty warm up there. So
Yeah, well, that's why I definitely want to go during winter. Get away from Melbourne or Victoria. It's freezing where we are.
yeah, I drive into work at 5:30 in the morning in pea soup fog. And when we were
Pea soup fog.
and yeah, that's the term. When we were coming back from Mount Buller, remember
Maybe New Zealand.
we were driving back from Mount Buller, and there was
Yes,
really
it was
bad
so
fog,
spooky.
and I could hardly see where I was going. And then we got to a petrol station and realised that one of our lights was gone, not just dim, but
But not
gone.
just that, like the fog. There was roadwork, so all the white lines were gone. There was only witches' hats, and they were hard to see.
And
so
they
that
were
was
like
scary.
the white dots as like where they're planning on putting the white lines back. And it was just people behind us, people coming at us, and yeah, it was a bit freaky. But we got through, we survived, which is good.
So I know, I think Wagon House from Tasmania, they're booked into the home show.
Yep, so they're confirmed, and they're hoping to. I mean, the organisers, Philip, the guy who's organising that area of the home show, contacted us, asked who we could put them in touch with. So we put them in touch with the guys at Aussie Tiny Houses, Fabio and Luke, also Caroline and Gareth from Merino Shepherd's Huts, who we're also going to go and check out. I had a message from Caroline the other day, so we're going to head out to the Yarra Valley. And
Yeah, they're happy for us to come out and
so
do
we're
a
going to do
interview.
a bit of an interview and a tour.
So that's definitely what's going to be on the YouTube channel. I mean, that's why we started the YouTube channel, to introduce the tiny houses and the tiny house businesses that are happening here. We want to introduce it to the rest of the world, just like Deke's doing and Bryce is doing, and who else is doing it?
Oh, lots of people do.
Yeah, a lot of people now, but
Jenna,
the original people.
Jenna over at Tiny House Giant Journey.
So I thought
She's still doing her thing. Yeah.
I thought we may as well get the ball rolling here now that, as you can see, it's starting to snowball here in Australia. So.
Yeah. But that's the thing, we want to, yes, we want to do the tiny house tours and stuff, but we want to do, product reviews, and we'll do interviews where we go out and see businesses, like when we head up to interview the guys at Aussie Tiny Houses. But we also want to interview and go see DIYers as well. So we're going to go back and see Murray. Shut up, I know I keep saying it. We're also going to go and see...
I think you're just telling yourself to shut up. You're sick of hearing yourself say it.
We're also going to go see Glade down here in Melbourne, who's built a very nice DIY tiny house.
Is that the one you posted about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go see that one.
$10,000.
Yeah, don't tell them.
It's all he spent. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so we're going to go and check out that very soon.
Recycled materials.
Yeah.
But that's beautiful. And they did all the work themselves.
Yeah. We're going to go visit some tip shops as well. Don't say that when you had a few wines. We're going to go see some tip shops. And we'll see what secrets they may hold for tiny houses on a budget. Because let's face it, if you can build a tiny house and you can get away with it without spending big dollars, if there's things that you can...
So don't be shy, guys. While they're there, ask them any questions. Even if you PM them, if you're shy here, just give them a PM.
Yeah, or message them through the Facebook page, etc. But yeah, as I was actually talking about this with Fabio this morning, and also the guy from Jeff.
Thanks, guys. We look forward to coming. So I need a holiday.
Yeah.
Even though we just had a mini one at Cloud 9, I really want to get up to Queensland. It's been a long time since I got out of Victoria, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. No,
Thank you.
That's it. But I was talking to Jeff from Tiny Homes WA, and also Fabio this morning, and Luke from Aussie Tiny Houses, about there's some things with a tiny house build that you can kind of cut corners with and go recycled, reclaimed, free.
Emily, there's different ways. We were talking to Grant Emmons yesterday. Oh, well, Darren was. He did a build for a client, and the client came along and helped do a little bit of hands-on experience on the build as well. So you can do that. There's those options.
Yeah. And so you can either just DIY it yourself and just use YouTube and just learn.
Again,
as some people have done.
We are talking about working bees as well. A lot of this is probably going to all kick off when we're on the land, because we are going to be rather busy between now and there, and it's cold and winter here. So. Yeah.
But no, we're certainly going to get some of these people over.
Hi, Gareth. Gareth's joining.
Hey, Gareth. So, yeah, Joe Everson from Tennessee Tiny Homes, he wants to come over. We're going to get him over.
We got a message from Andrew Morris person. So
Yeah.
that was good. That was.
You're letting all the cats out the bags again.
I'm not saying what was in the message, but he
Okay.
messaged us and.
We're talking to Andrew and Gabriella Morris, and we're talking to Joe Everson.
So we're just jumping in the car ready to go on Saturday morning to Cloud9, and we get this message from Andrew. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were gallivanting
Hi,
around.
Mum.
They're gallivanting around Jamaica at the moment. I think they're home now.
They've just got home.
But they were in Jamaica running some teaching. Hey, Mum. Can I call her Mum?
Well, you do anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, she's Mum. So, everyone, that's Mum. Mum, meet everyone. So, yeah.
Christine's my mum. She's just popped.
But what I was going to say was, there's some parts of a build where you don't want to necessarily cut corners and you just go new. And I was talking about it with Jeff this morning from Tiny Homes WA. If you've got the skills and the ability to weld up your own trailer, and if that's going to be cheaper for you, do it, right? If you have to ask questions, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah,
So
speaking of which,
brand new trailer.
I know, his name escapes me. We Are Change from New Zealand. If you go to We Are Change on Facebook, he has a download if you do intend to weld your own trailer. But you were going to talk to him and...
Yeah, it's on my list of people to ring and contact.
There's a list of people to ring.
I've got a list.
I'd ring, but I don't know the first thing about half the things you guys talk about, so...
Well, don't sell yourself short, you should. So, having said that, there was a comment a thread in another Facebook group that I commented on today.
Well, hang on, sorry, I'm just with the... I don't mean to interrupt, sorry.
No, that's all right. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Just a couple of comments how, there's the affordability of not being able to buy one outright, getting a builder, but they also don't really have the experience. So for those people who don't have the funds to buy one outright and yet not confident enough to build it themselves, again, the working bees are a good option.
Yeah.
Or scrubbing up on some skills at a workshop, which we're going to be running.
Yeah, we're going to be having workshops and seminars. The other option also is to get the hard stuff done for you. I know that Fabio and Luke can do lock-up shells for you.
That's an option as well, yeah.
Grant, designer Eco Tiny Homes, he can do lock-up shells. The boys at Aussie Tiny Houses can do lock-up packages as well. And another option, which is what Oz and Baha are doing, a couple of our trailer clients here in Melbourne, up here at Macedon Ranges region, they have taken on a builder, not a tiny house builder necessarily, just a regular builder that knows how to build, and they're working with him on an hourly basis just to give them a hand, and after a week of work they got it to lock-up stage. So, it might be, $2,000 in labour costs for the builder. You help out or get your friends and family to help out as well. The builder's there to make sure that everything gets done properly. Maybe $2,000 and you've got your house at lock-up stage. So there's all sorts of options there. Yeah. But as I was saying to someone earlier today, if you're building anything over 6 metres long, I would just go for a custom-built, brand spanking new trailer. It's the foundation of your house. Now, as I said, I commented on a thread on another group earlier this evening.
Cart's been funny. He wants a lock-up shell so he can hear the ocean.
Yeah, that'll be right. So...
Cart's our larrikin.
Yeah, that's why he's called the Nasty Bastard on YouTube.
Coffee Cart.
But I commented on a thread in another tiny house-related group this afternoon. Hang on. And this guy was asking about, do you know anyone that does trailers here in Australia? And of course I piped up and said, well, yeah, we do. But he only wants to build a little single axle tiny thing. And it reminded me of, and I've showed him, I put a link in that thread to our video interview we did with Ben, who did Little Red, which has recently sold and gone off to this new home. But he did that on a $100 trailer that he bought off the side of the road, a little single axle, I think it was a boat trailer or something. So if you're building a little teardrop or a little studio, a pod, some sort of outdoor craft room, or just a little tiny thing, yeah, you can build it on an old trailer or an old vintage caravan chassis. It's not so much of an issue. I mean, Little Red that Ben built weighed a total of 960 kilograms. So that sort of thing, yeah, you can put it on a little used, renovated trailer. You still have to make sure the trailer is rated to carry the weight of it. But he registered that as a caravan, and that's a caravan. He can take that to anywhere in the country.
I was just going to say Aussie Tiny Houses, when Darren first saw your photos of your build, the internal shot where it was all white,
I was teared up.
Yeah, he fell in love. A lot of people hang it on Darren because his favourite colour or his favourite finish is white. He just likes everything white.
Not everything.
Well, I don't know where it comes from. I was a bit slow to catch on, even when we were dating. It's like, oh, don't you know about me? And no, don't.
Anyway.
So people like to hang it on him.
Yeah, I know.
We do the hard work, which is the shell, and you do the interior yourself. Great for DIY.
You know the comments are on my lap here on the phone.
Yeah, but that's over on your lap.
Oh, okay, sorry. This is why we need a big screen, big like old 50-inch TV. Then we can hang back and watch the comments.
Yeah, I mean, I want to build my own. I am going to get help along the way. Maybe I will get a shell made. I don't know, but you know, I want hands-on experience with mine, and that's a great option. Having a shell and then having to do the interior. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Doing the
and I remember I was specifically talking about it with, I think, Fabio this morning. The fact that at the end of the day, actually, no, it was Grant last night. If people want to DIY their own house, then it doesn't matter what any company does. They're going to DIY their own house, and that's what they want to do, whether it be for budget constraints or whether it be because they just want the adventure of the build and that feeling of accomplishment. And it's like there's all these, you know, not all these. There's probably 3 or 4 quality tiny house building companies that are up and running. And they're all got their different styles and their different designs, and they're in different locations and doing different price points. And people will decide to go with who they want to go with. And, you know, if people want to DIY their own build, they're going to do it. If they want to get an old caravan and strip it down and build on that, they'll do it.
We're not going to strip it down, but we are going to do up our caravan. So I'm looking forward to doing that. You need to get some time off.
Speaking of renovated caravans, Macy Miller from Mini Motives on Facebook. If you're not aware of who Macy is, then you've probably been living under a rock. But Macy is built a 20-foot tiny house in the States, and she built it herself with a bit of help from her dad. It cost her a total of $11,000. I was watching the build as she was doing it a few years ago, and then she met her boyfriend. And then they bought a puppy, a Great Dane. Denver is now the size of a bloody horse. And then they had 2 babies, and they were living in their tiny house. But get this, they bought the reason I bring it up, because you mentioned the caravan, they bought an old vintage caravan, and I think they were going to renovate it, but then they realised it was too far gone, so they basically they stripped it down and they just rebuilt the whole thing from the frame up. And they've done a stunning job, and the 4 of them, 2 kids plus the 2 of them plus Denver, who's like a 3rd adult, are now travelling the States in their renovated little, like 12-foot, it's ridiculous, like 12-foot little tiny caravan, and they're doing this big road trip.
I can't imagine a 12-foot. Ours is a 15-foot.
I don't know for sure, but it's definitely smaller than ours. Yeah. And they've been on the road now for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks, don't quote me on that, and they absolutely love
What's
it.
15-foot?
15-foot is about 4.5 metres.
Okay. But the floor space is only like 2 metres by 1 metre.
Yeah, in our caravan, because you got like in a caravan, obviously everything's sort of set and built in, and so our floor area in our vintage caravan is 2 metres long by 1 metre wide. Because then you got the bed at one end and the table at the other end. So
we decided we're going to paint it. We're going to put the flooring in.
Paint it white.
And everything will be all right.
Yeah, hopefully.
And I'm going to do the curtains and then probably reupholster the seating and get a new mattress. And what else are we going to do? We might actually put in a new kitchen. Whether we just replace the bench top or whether we get a whole new cabinet put in, I'm not sure. We do want to get a better fridge. I like the fridge that Grant used. The video that we uploaded today, the vlog.
Our vlog video.
We do a little mini walkthrough of Grant's smaller model. Was it the graduate series?
No, the independent series.
Independent series.
We actually did a proper video interview and tour and stuff, but the audio was shit, and so we just sort of put music over it.
You'll see in parts of the video where I did try and play around and fix the audio.
Yeah, but we didn't
but there's
want to
other
just
parts that I had to chop out because it was just so bad I couldn't use it. But what I was going to say is he talks about this fridge. It's a small bar fridge, but it's got a separate freezer.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think we'll put in the caravan.
He said it was the smallest fridge that he could find, where it's not like, the normal bar fridges where you got like an ice box inside. It's not one of those dodgy ones. It was a proper 2-door fridge, freezer at the top, fridge at the bottom.
If you've got time, it goes for 20 minutes, so I overdid it. I like my editing, so I take a lot of footage, and it's hard to decide what to keep and what to throw out.
Yeah, if any of you have seen our car footage, it's all, it's sexy, it's all smooth because we've got the gimbal going, so we're getting our money's worth out of that bloody gimbal. But,
but yeah, like, when you've got time to watch it, check out that one. It's got the fridge, and you'll see us at Grant's build site.
No, Carl, I'm not going to do the Mr. Bean paint job. I know the video you're talking about. Cheeky bastard.
What, it's a bomb or something, isn't it? Then you leave there's someone walks in and leaves a silhouette.
Anyway.
Russ, if you've just joined, which you did,
we is coming to Queensland, Russ.
So, yeah, Russ, we're coming to Queensland this
well, not
winter.
to you. You got to compromise. You got to come down to the Sunshine Coast. But
we're going to go interview Aussie tiny houses.
We'll have a meet-up in the Sunshine Coast.
And we're going to organise a meet-up while we're there as well. And possibly organise a tour of...
Yeah, so we're talking to the guys, not to paint anyone into a corner yet, but we want to have a meet-up.
We're still in talk, still have to finalise the dates and everything. But
it might be, the meet-up might be like what we did in Sydney with the home show. It might be an evening meet-up at an RSL somewhere in the Sunshine Coast. Not necessarily, it'll probably be separate to the regular Sunday morning monthly things, but we'll probably do a...
Yeah, definitely. And also with tiny houses, because we've lived in a caravan, we know the insulation's not great in a caravan.
Hot in the summer, cold in the winter.
Yeah. And also, they're not very sound. There's not much of a sound barrier. What are you pulling your face for? No, you're being rude.
Oh, right.
No one wasn't talking about that.
Yeah. So
you could be having a conversation, then people outside can hear you talking.
Yeah, that's true. So, and that's the thing. Often people say the unaware, the uneducated, often say, "Oh, you mean like a caravan?" It's not a caravan. I mean, from a legal point of view, from an insurance point of view, yes, it is a self-built caravan, regardless of whether you DIY it or whether you buy from Luke and Fabio or one of these tiny house builders.
Also, once you've settled your tiny house, you've got them up on stands. So it's a lot more stable.
Yeah.
Even though a caravan has those stands, it's still pretty. You can tell it still wobbles.
That's one of the bits of feedback we need to give Carl. He needs to jack the thing up and put it on stands.
Did you check? I thought you said you checked to see that it was on jacks.
No, it's not. It's.
I thought you said you saw a couple underneath.
Yeah, there is, but he needs a bit more, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, he will. I'm sure he's still working on it. He's not quite finished.
Yeah. No, that's it. And based on my feedback, he made a few additions. Because for those of you that checked out our first video, our first little sneak peek live video from Living in Cloud9, Carl put a really cool sort of hangout space above the kitchen cupboards, like up above the kitchen cupboards. And it was just a sleeping area and a couch area, but had no rail. And so it did look a little bit sketchy, but it was very cool. I liked it. But
he put up a desk there so you can put your legs over.
Yeah.
But if you watch also, again, the video from today that we uploaded, you do a similar thing. Darren has this thing about swinging your legs around, put your legs in some space, and you can have a desk and have a work area.
No,
you do, because when we first met, I should pull that photo up. There's a photo, he did a sketch, a drawing.
A sketch? You mean my stick figure drawing?
Yeah, your stick figure drawing of you with your design with your legs in the...
Did I do that before or after I heard that you were an artist? I don't think I would have...
think it was during... It was our first conversation.
Probably, but our first conversation went for about 6 hours.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I think we hit it off straight away.
What did you think of me?
No,
all right, we won't go there. But yeah, no, I had this idea. You watch the guys from Aussie Tiny Houses will nick it, bastard. But anyway, no, I had this idea of, because often in a...
Like a manhole, dangling your feet in the manhole.
Because my thought was this, in a loft area, if you want to... Now, depending on the size of your loft, right?
It has to be practical.
The loft in Living in Cloud 9, that had a decent sized height loft. And you could easily put a regular office chair in there and have a regular height desk and a regular office chair. And when you're sitting in the office chair, the roof would probably be about there. So you could have a fully functioning office. But for those that maybe don't want to have like a full-size desk and a big, you know, sort of office chair sort of dominating the room or their loft, my idea was this: you have like a hole in the floor with a lid, you know, and you take open the lid or take the section out like a pot lid. You open up the lid and you put it aside, and then you got this hole in the loft floor, and you can dangle your legs through there. And
well,
then
your
you're in the
partner
perfect...
stands underneath and tickles your feet.
Well, whatever. But
really spills
the hole could go down into the kitchen, living room, whatever. And that way you've got this perfect spot where you can put a cushion under. You sit on essentially the floor of the loft. Your legs dangle down, and you can have a flip-up desk or a fold-out. And that way it could be essentially a shelf somewhere in the loft. I think it's a good idea. But the reason Lisa mentioned that was when we went up on the way to Sydney, we stopped by Ulladulla to see Grant at Designer Eco Tiny Homes, and had another look at his graduate series, which was the one that was on display at the Sydney Home Show. And yeah, up the stairs, when he goes up the stairs...
Trapdoor, yeah, that's better.
Yeah, and when you go up the stairs, the loft kind of wraps around a little bit, around the stairs a little bit. And I realised that when you sit on like the second to last step of the loft before you hit the loft floor, you can actually swing your legs around and have them dangling down.
So he's got this thing.
Perfect workspace.
This thing with white and your legs dangling.
No, I've got this thing about multifunctional spaces. That's what I've got. But when we did the live thing at Living in Cloud 9, I said, you know, this could be a sleep area, it could be a storage area. Hey, you put a rail here and a desk, it could be a workspace. And Carl sent me a voicemail like the day before we arrived last weekend. He said, yeah, I've taken your inspiration. I've added a workspace.
Samantha's saying use Japanese floor chairs. That would work so you don't get a numb bottom.
Yes. So...
what's Gareth saying? I had a similar idea for a bath that hangs below the trailer deck height when you're parked. With a lid. I've seen one where they have a lid.
Yeah.
It's got a drain, so you can use it as a shower, but then you can remove that lid and then it's a bath. So
the lid over the bath is essentially like a deck that you stand on when you have a shower.
I was thinking about having a bath, but I'm not going to. I can't get out of them.
Well, if you just in one of those Japanese baths.
That would be cool. It was a couple of years ago we were at the home show and they had one of those, it was like a fiberglass.
It was like a modern variation of a Japanese ofuro bath where it was a deep one where you actually sit in.
And it had a seat.
But it had a door, a watertight door that it was about $5.5 grand.
Yeah, you wouldn't open it with the water still in it, obviously.
There's probably some locking mechanism. There's probably an idiot proof.
But you would have to open the door, get in, fill the bath up, then drain the bath to open the door to get out.
Good point. Which kind of negates if you've got to clamber over the side, it kind of negates the whole reason for having a door in the first place.
No, it was for people who can't get out of baths like me. In and out.
But I'd be getting in the bath, shut the thing and go, it's hot. And then you've got to wait 20 minutes to fill the bath up.
It's fine.
And then when you want to get out, you've got to wait for the water to go down.
But you like that.
Don't go there.
He likes it when the water goes down. It feels nice. I hate it.
She hates it. I've got to get out.
Reminds me of my childhood. Whenever Mum pulled out the plug, I hated that noise it makes, so I'd run out of the bathroom before it made that noise. Just like when the news started, I hated the news. Oh, the news! As I leave the room, it's like, get away.
I kind of like the feeling of the water level going down my body, but anyway, we won't go there. So.
Things we talk about.
As Gareth said, they're not cheap. But a Japanese bath is actually a good space-saving option. If those of you might think it's a bit weird.
Dangling lily white legs.
Some of you might think a Japanese bath is a bit weird. For someone who has lived in Japan, I have used Japanese baths and they are actually great.
See? Can't understand. It's the drain monster. I hated it.
Hey, Kurt, when you were in Japan, did you ever check out a traditional Japanese bath? You know, like a little residential one where you sit in, and I actually prefer them because we're in this rental house. This is probably a 1920s, 30s house. It's nice enough.
I like it. It's one of the nicer places that I've lived in.
Yeah.
It's old, but it's lovely.
But
it's
it's
an
got
art deco.
Yeah, but it's got a traditional bath, you know, and one or two people can fit in there, but it's a bit, you know, sort of steep at one end and then sort of the gentle slope at the other end. And if there's two people in the bath, one's usually sliding down. It's just...
Well, that's another reason we've got to get out and interview Murray, because he built one.
Yeah, he's built
with
his own
hands. So, and I think he might have had like resin.
I thought he used someone else's hands. Sorry, he built it with his own hands.
Always taking the piss.
So he built it with his own hands.
Just use an old wine barrel.
Mm.
That's a good idea,
That's
actually,
true.
Gareth.
Yeah. But no, I
would need... Oh, all you need is one of those pool ladders. Climb up, climb down. I can do that.
That'd be a sight, yeah. So...
Please.
Yes, all the time. I live them. I think he means I love them. I have some pictures on my page. That's right. Plug your own bloody Facebook page, Carl. Go on.
Yeah, so what's your page called again, Carl? There it is. He's got his...
He's a Leaf on the Wind for our moderator, Carteret's
What
Facebook page.
made you call it Leaf on the Wind, Cart? It's an unusual tiny house name. But I like it because it's original.
Yeah, at least
not like every other friggin'...
At least it's better than Tiny Houses Ipswich. You could have called it that. Not bloody surprised. But anyway, no, I like it.
Yeah, I was going to go somewhere, but I won't. I'll leave it alone.
Yeah. Cool. Luke from Aussie Tiny Houses is live, so they might be live at the same time. But yeah, so there's lots of options, and yeah, so Murray did his own Japanese style bath, and I'm assuming it's watertight. But the advantage of a Japanese style bath is that obviously it takes up a smaller footprint. It's deep. You can have an inbuilt seat, so it might be weird to think you're kind of sitting almost on a chair like this, having a bath.
I will go down because I said something. What's she talking about?
Talking about what?
The logo. If you see a logo out there that looks similar, no, it's a copy of ours.
Yeah, there's a dodgy.
That's all. Just. Yeah.
No, there's a
lot of copycats out there.
There's a dodgy woman. No, we're going to seek legal.
People are chasing our tails.
We're going to seek legal advice because there's a dodgy woman in Queensland that's come up with a new logo for her page that's been around for like.
Don't say who or where. Just.
And
she's ripped off. All you need to know.
She's ripped off your logo, and it's just bullshit. But anyway.
No, Patricia, not until spring. Spring is when we're going to be out on the property.
Yeah, and that's because the sale of the property, or the purchase of the property hasn't settled yet.
Hanging in there. 11 people are coming and going as they please, so that's good. But yeah, ask questions.
That's right. I was watching Gary Vaynerchuk live the other day. He's got millions of followers, and he was doing a live thing, and I think he had 280 people on the thing. So for us to get 10 or 15 or 20 fluctuating around there, that's all right. And this is the thing. We do this Friday night thing. Some people will like it. Some people will think it's a lot of rubbish. That's fine.
Serenity TV show reference, as someone stole Serenity.
Yeah, because you were going to call your house Serenity, weren't you?
It is Serenity.
It is Serenity. Mine's Destiny. How's a Serenity?
I mean, I could change my mind. A girl changes their mind like they change their underwear, so...
I might change mine to Eternity because it's never going to happen.
Eternity. Actually, I like that. Eternity.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Patricia, the purchase of the land hasn't settled yet. So no, we're still in our rental house at the moment until probably September or October. But the owner of the land purchased the property about a year ago, and it's not due to settle until September because it's a large purchase, large slab of land. And so we have limited access to the property at the moment. There is still people living. There's about 5 houses on the property, and there's people still living on the property, so we've got to respect their privacy.
Oh, thanks, Patricia. Oh, look, you know,
thank you, Patricia.
we do the same, and we're going to talk about us, but we talk about the tiny houses and tiny house community and what we do and all about the movement. We're just so enthusiastic about it. Can't get enough of it.
Well, it just makes sense for me because, especially Australia, if we were living in Alaska where, and for 7 months of the year, you just want to get the hell inside and stay there, it'll be maybe a different situation, but I'm sure they still have issues of housing affordability. But in Australia, for the most part, even in Victoria, for the most part, the climate lends itself to living indoors, outdoors. So there's nothing wrong with having a smaller space.
Winston's asking if I've changed anything in my design after staying in Cloud9. No, I still love my design. I like his design, but I like aspects of my design. I like my deck. I like my desk at one end, and I like my kitchen. He's got a kitchen at one end. It's sort of, what's the word?
Solidified your decision.
Solidifies my decision of having my kitchen at one end.
But then again, you love your design because that's everything you wanted in your house combined to do that design.
I mean, there's probably changes I will make as I progress. That's just a natural progression from the moment it was on paper, SketchUp, then the model, more SketchUp. It's evolved, and it'll probably evolve even once I start building. And I think that's just the normal progression of things. You actually see another idea that might work best, so and you change accordingly.
And I know that won't be the only tiny house that Carl builds. He is in the process of getting ready to move back to New Zealand, to Auckland. He's for family reasons, and he's going to be starting up a Pilates studio. He's already started actually and started promoting it over in Auckland. So he's going to be moving back, but his next project, he's talking about doing a houseboat. Because he said you don't have the height restrictions and you can go like 5 meters wide.
Or the weight restrictions.
Or the weight restrictions. So that's an interesting idea. I have to see if it's still available. I put a link up. It was really heavily shared. Everyone loved it. It was a beautiful place that I found on boatsales.com.au, and it was a tiny house that someone had done on a pontoon. It was like a little tiny house. Think of it, imagine a tumbleweed tiny house. You picked it up and you whack it on a pontoon. It looked like that, and it was for sale for about $90,000. It was, I mean, it's a lot of money, but at the end of the day, it's also it's a quality built house. It was built a couple of years ago, but it's not 2.5 meters wide. It's like 4 or 5 meters wide and about maybe 6 meters long. But it was a beautiful place, and so that was on boat sales. But what I was going to say was, the design that Lisa comes up with.
No, not Bendigo. It's where roughly near Melton, outside of Melton. Is that right?
It is in between Melton and Gisborne, or between Melton and Bacchus Marsh. That sort of pocket.
We're not being cagey on the location. We're just trying to protect the people that are still living on that property.
Well, here we are.
What cagey?
We've had about 70 inquiries, but some of the inquiries are, want more information about the village, tell me more. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know whether you're just some nosy bugger in Brisbane that's just curious to what we're doing.
So we're not going to give you that location.
So, people need to, we're in the process of weeding out who's serious,
we are giving
who's
people who are definitely wanting to move there, and we've communicated to and fro with. They know where. Yeah,
I mean, and that's the thing. We want people that are going to be. I was going to say we don't want.
And once we're on there, and once we start doing workshops and stuff, it's all going to be out in the open. So it's just that while there's people living there, that we want to respect their privacy. So.
And also, even when we have them come to the property,
there's horses out there as well. So people own those horses, and heaven forbid if anything happens.
And that's still going to be the same when we move on to the property, because the owner is going to have a horse adjustment section of the property, where so if you've got a horse and you want to come and live with us, and you've got a horse, you can adjust your horse, 100 metres away in the horse field.
Winston's folks live in Gisborne. Gisborne's lovely, so it's not far from Gisborne at all. So definitely welcome to come in.
So Winston, you and Helen can come and
say
hello, come for dinner. Around the fire. I know Winston and Helen are looking at building, but they want. Is it 3 houses you're needing to build, Winston? Because you got so many kids. But what I was going to say was, even when people have moved onto the property, we're still going to be very secretive about the location, because we don't want nosy people going, oh, go and have a wander. I want to go and have a look at these tiny houses. No, it's people's homes.
It's only, well, you can't really. It's not going to be secret, because we know there's going to be properties on there that people are going to be able to rent.
True, but
there's going to be public aspects of the land.
And one of the conditions of the residents when they move on is they're not going to plaster all over social media, this is where we live. So obviously they can tell their friends and family and the address where they live, but because we want to protect the privacy of the people that move onto the property as well.
Yeah.
So it's a big property. We've got limited access. We're actually talking about going down there. We're meeting the owner next weekend at some stage potentially, because we want to check out and drive around the property and work out, because there's multiple fields. So we're going to there's certain sections which he knows he's going to set aside for horse adjustment, for camping, glamping. He's talking to YMCAs and school companies that do school camps and stuff. But there's going to be a totally separate section, like multiple fields that are going to be for the tiny house village.
No, not like a lottery at all. It's just, if people want to come and live on the land, they need to just get in touch with us. So you can email, if you're interested, Patricia, you just email Darren or I, both of us, at info@tinyhousesaustralia.com.
The joining criteria, is that we need to...
is that what she means?
Yeah. So we need to like you, and you need to support us.
It just depends on what your needs are for yourself to be, and whether that's going to be appropriate for what we're offering.
We'll put it this way: we don't want to have people on the property that are just an accident or a problem waiting to happen. I mean, we had one email from a lady. I'm not going to name her name, but she said, "Oh, I'm separated."
It needs to be. It's for independent living.
Yeah.
It's not for people who. It's not like.
It's not like a commune where... So we had one email from a lady who said, oh, I've got an autistic son and I'm allergic to almost everything and I need to carry an EpiPen with me.
And are we going to get police checks for everybody?
Yeah, is everyone going to have working with children checks?
So it's not appropriate for someone who has those high needs.
Yeah.
That's more sort of on a carer sort of
and I need public
situation.
Transport because I don't drive. Well then, no, it's not going to be a good fit for you, lady, because there is no public transport. Yes, you're 12 minutes drive by car from
no one's
train
required
station.
to get a police check because they're not applying for a job, and that's just
no, we're not going to
against their
it's
rights,
breaching their rights.
Really?
So no, we're not going to request that from everyone. So in terms of the houses, in terms of the houses, it needs to be a tiny house on a trailer. Up to you what design, but it can't be a yurt, can't be a house truck, can't be a caravan.
It is tiny houses on wheels because that's what the landowner wants.
Yep.
And he wants it consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can imagine if there's a bus and a yurt and a caravan and a this and a that, it would look like an eyesore, and that's what we want to avoid as well. So we understand why he wants just a themed tiny house on wheels.
So several people have said, oh, can I live in my caravan while we build? And I said, well, no, because the fact is we can't guarantee. They might be 2 years down the track and still living in their caravan while they are building. So no, the two options...
without communal living. It's, that's why we're sort of saying it's a tiny house village, not community.
I don't want to say community. I mean, it is, but...
It's still going to have a bit of a community vibe. We're going to have like a shared garden, but people can work on it as much or as little. Yeah. And it depends on how much or little, whether they want to, how much they're going to be sharing in the produce.
So if someone wants to come onto the property with their tiny house and park it down the back of field C or whatever it might be, and they don't talk to anyone, they just do their thing, they live their life, they come, they go to work, they come home, they just want to be left the hell alone, that's fine, as long as they pay the rent, that's fine.
It's not a build site, but there is going to be build sites. There's going to be, but it's going to be like controlled, first in best dressed, basically.
So there's two options. You're either opportunity A, I've got a tiny house, it's all complete, I'm ready to live in it, and I want to bring it onto the property, great, that's $150 a week. What you get for your $150 a week is enormous amounts of space, peace and quiet, Plenty of nature. We were up there at dusk the other night, and there was hordes of kangaroos bouncing across the fields.
We're going to go again next weekend during the daylight.
Yeah.
And we might do another video.
Yeah, we might do.
And I'm going to talk to Alex, the landowner. I want to ask him how much does he want us to reveal about the future plans of the property as well, because I'd like to reveal some more.
Yeah.
What else?
Well,
probably get out the drone. I might see
maybe.
if Kyle wants to join us. We've got to learn to fly it. My son flies it. He knows how to
I
fly
freaked out the last time I had to go at the drone.
It went over the neighbours.
And it fucked off like 6 or 7 houses. I'm going, oh, return to base, return to
it
base.
wasn't, what do you call it?
It wasn't fucking responding, that's what I call it. And we eventually got it back. I thought, fuck now, I'm not touching it until I have proper lessons. So I need to get on to watch Thai on the DJI tutorial videos again. But what I was saying was, yeah, there's two opportunities. Either you've got a tiny house, it doesn't matter what the design is, it could be a cutesy tumbleweed style tiny house, or it could be a super modern...
I don't want to feed them now. I found out they're actually worth quite a bit. So I thought,
yeah, there's some
I better not touch it.
There's some
I might kill it.
Yeah, there's some high-end racehorses on that land as well. So, but the point is that, yeah, if you've got a tiny house ready to go, $150 a week. As I said, you've got peace, quiet, space, privacy. There's not going to be specific sort of boundaries, allocated areas of land. It's pretty much
open.
Get in, pick your spot, and park your tiny house.
I mean, if you want to encage your chickens and stuff, that's fine.
Yeah.
We did. I think we might have touched on this last week. Someone wants a holding, and Alex is actually open to that. So.
Yeah. So we had one guy who wants to have like a half acre dedicated exclusive use of a half an acre. He wants to have a couple of pigs, some chickens. He wants to set up a bit of a garden. I said, and so what we said to this guy, and we checked with Alex, the owner, and he said, look, we're open to it. It's certainly not going to be $150 a week. It's going to be a higher price. If someone
does want long-term stay. So Alex is very flexible in that regard.
If someone wants exclusive use of 1 acre, 5 acres, 10 acres, that's possible, but it's going to be at a price. So what we're saying is that there's going to be like several fields or sections of the property. So if we might say, okay, for those people that want exclusive use of a half acre, 1 acre, 2 acres, whatever, that's fine. They're going to be up for the cost of the fencing. If they want to fence off, if they want to have a cow or some sheep, and they want to fence off, they're going to be up for the cost of the fencing, that's fine, and it's going to be a higher rental. But we'll put those people in like field B, in one designated area, and then we talked about how there's going to be on-grid powered sites to some parts of the property. So once we get onto the property full-time and...
Patricia, it's not 40 homes only, but we just thought that would be a good number.
There's enough room there for bloody 100 homes, for Christ's sake. But... our goal is to have 10 people on the property by the end of the year and then go from there next year. Who knows? I think the bigger opportunity is initially going to have people building on the property, because that's the big question we get as well. I want to do a tiny house, but shit, where do I forget where I'm parking it? Where do I even build the bloody thing? So we're going to have build sites available. But what I was saying is there's going to be...
And there's enough space to have the people building aside from the people living.
Yeah,
there's enough space.
So we might have those that want to have exclusive use of the several acres in one section. We might have everyone who's building in another field over here. Those that are already complete and finished and they want to live, they might be over there. There is going to be some, once we get onto the property in September, and once Alex takes full possession of the property in September, we'll work out what fields we can get power to and what we can't.
So Winston's asked a very good question. It's due to the size of the property and what it's zoned, sort of agricultural and...
Look, technically it's zoned as green wedge.
And agricultural,
which means that it's
tourism.
It can be tourism activities can be encouraged. So it's not agricultural, it's not commercial, it's not residential. It's green wedge, and that's the key. So we don't want to go into too much about it because at the end of the day, that's the owner's dealing with that.
So,
but he's certainly confident that there's not going to be a problem. And at the end of the day, this is the thing. They're on wheels. So if there's an issue, we move on. But there's not going to be an issue. He's not going to spend multiple.
He spoke. It's what he's good at. Well, it's what he knows. It's his
it's,
background.
It's his background.
He's spoken to lawyers.
Planning
he's been
consultants.
there, done that.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and if it means having to put some money into it, then he's happy to do that as well.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
it's one of these situations. If you say, "Please, sir, can we do this?" to a council, it's very easy for them to say no.
He's basically gone above. So
we're just going to do
it's all good.
Yeah. So
everyone's worrying about councils this and councils that.
It's the same old story.
Let's get a committee together and.
Just do the bloody thing.
How much money do you have? How much land do you have? Who do you know? Really?
Yeah.
We all know it comes down to who do you know, how much money do you have, and so.
But the point that I was going to make about the power is that obviously we're not expecting Alex to invest the huge amounts of money that would cost to get power to every corner of this 600 plus acre property. Yeah. So, but if we can get power to one of the fields, and each field's huge, right?
And internet as well. Like
if we can get
about getting fast speed internet as well.
So if we can get power to one or two or three of the fields, then those that don't want to go off grid and they want to have access to a powered site, we might say, right, you guys need to go on field A. Same thing with the internet. We've got one of our Facebook followers who's in the telecommunications internet service provider industry, and he's looking into the property for us to see what the options are. He's 95% sure that we can get, as long as there's a phone line on the property, which I'm sure there must have been at some point, or there must be now. So we can get ADSL, but he's looking into the options of whether we can get NBN, whether we can get ADSL, how far into the property can we get it, what cost it might be. So depending on what the findings of that might be, it might be that...
should be mandatory. Well, yeah, there's off-grid... that's why we're putting the call out for off-grid initially. Because
we don't know what the situation is regarding power, where we can get power to, where we can't get power to. So for those, and the initial call out is, you've got to be self-sufficient. You've got to have solar power, unless you want to run 24/7 on a generator.
As you can imagine, we're all starting from scratch on this land, so it's going to be a continual evolution.
It's horse fields, so there's no...
just like the tiny house community, just like Tiny Houses Australia, just like Tiny House movement, you name it. It's a progression. You grow.
Yeah. So depending on what's involved in getting internet to the property, there might be a $10 a week or a $10 a month or $20 a month contribution that people make to have access to the internet. There is a shed
that's got power. He's thinking about trying to get power to another shed as well. But there's also generators. If you bring a generator along, I mean, like Deke, he does off-grid building workshops. And that
out in the forest, off-grid tree
house
building.
There's tools that are battery-powered now.
Yeah, all that. We've got our Ryobi cordless tools and stuff. And even things like drop saws, you can actually get a Ryobi cordless drop saw. It's not huge, it's, like that big, but it's certainly big enough to cut any timber you need to build a tiny house. So you can always use the generator to charge your batteries and stuff. And let's face it, unless you've got 20 people working on the property at the one time, you're not using more than 2 or 3 batteries at the same time.
We've been talking to various companies who are looking at possibly putting a display house on the property as well, but more so maybe as an Airbnb, so that people can come and experience a tiny house, and it might generate leads for that company as well.
So we're happy to put that out there. If any of you, whether you're people like Aussie Tiny Houses or Grant from Designer Eco Tiny Homes, we've been talking to him about it as well. Caroline from Merino Shepherd's Huts. Regardless of whether you've got a business, if anyone out here, and spread the word, you guys, if anyone has a tiny house building business and they want to have a display unit on our property, not our property, I say our property, the property we're managing.
We're managing it, so.
If you want to have a display house on the property, either as simply open certain days of the week for inspection to generate leads and business for you, or whether you want it open on certain days of the week and then otherwise rent it out on Airbnb, we can manage that for you as well. But not only that, if you've got a tiny house, or if you're a DIYer and you want to build a tiny house and put it on this property and rent it out full time as an Airbnb unit, then we can do that. obviously, you'll get some of the income, Alex will get some of the income, and we'll get some of the income. It'll be a three-way split.
Gareth's just, mentioning a few shipping containers for storage. There's actually storage there. The old stables.
Yeah, there's stables and sheds, so some of that will be converted to storage.
Darren and I have considered getting a shipping container. Did you bring that up with
I haven't run it past Alex yet, but
we're talking about getting a shipping container. If Alex is happy for us to do that, number one, to put anything in there like our tools and stuff.
While we build.
And then once we finish the build, we can convert that and then
to a studio and then either sell it or get it placed elsewhere on the property. But
so Winston, thanks for all the links. But we'll we're keeping that in mind.
I mean, we're only wanting to do it because we're going to be building. There might be the option of maybe putting like 2 or 3 40-foot containers on the property, dotted around for people to use as storage.
Thanks, Gareth.
But,
understand.
Thanks, Gareth.
Yeah, Gareth was in our group. He's left. He left the group.
Bastard.
Come back. No, he's always supported us. It's just that sometimes there's a little bit of negativity around it. So I understand.
Some people
but
bitch and moan.
He still shares the love. So.
Yeah.
So Patricia's saying you mentioned 150 a week.
150
is likely to be more.
No, not. Look, the only reason it might be slightly more is if people need to have heavy internet access, and we don't know what the cost, whether there's.
Well, they'd be paying, for off-gridders. So the $150 is for
the ability to live on the land.
The initial call out for people to live off-grid. For those who are needing a power internet, it might cost a little more just to cover the bills. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
So.
But if you're, but the only reason why the off-gridders would pay more than 150 is if either, I want exclusive use, so I want fenced off 5 acres just for me, then that's going to be more. Or if you want to have access to heavy internet. Now, Optus has confirmed there's 3G/4G access on the property. So, because everyone's got different internet needs. Some of you might say, well, I just need to check Facebook and check my messages once a day.
Whereas we need internet access.
Whereas we're uploading videos to YouTube, we're running an online business and building an online business as well. So,
in fact, the common questions are pets allowed? Internet. And what's the other one?
That's it pretty much, pets and internet.
Pets and internet, yeah.
And just to recap with pets, there's 2 opportunities, $150 a week. You've got your own tiny house ready to go, fully self-sufficient, solar panels for your electrics, a commercial composting toilet, rather than a bucket toilet. We prefer a commercial composting toilet, which is just a lot more convenient. Yeah, they start at about $1,500. Nature's Head toilet, $1,540 plus freight, and it's good for 80 or so.
We understand uses. There's people out there that think, 150, that's a bit much. We've had a couple of comments. Not a lot, not many actually. People understand.
Really?
There's only been a couple of comments, but I was just going to say the reason, if it was just a private landowner with an acre, sure, they would charge probably less, but because this is such a large land and it's going to be more than just come and live, you're going to be part of a community / village. It's Australia's first tiny house village.
I've seen people advertising space in their backyards or in their driveways for $100 a week.
It's close to the city, like it's 40 minutes drive to the CBD, so you've got that access. And
if you work in the northern or the western suburbs, you could be 15, 20 minutes from work. It's 12 minutes drive from Diggers Rest train station, probably 17 minutes drive, halfway between Gisborne and Melton Shopping Centre.
There's going to be a farmer's market. So
we're looking at maybe setting up a farmer's market monthly on the property as well.
Which is going to be part of the communal garden aspect.
That's one of the long-term projects. We've got all these ideas, but we're going to, the ones we want to focus on is, you've got a tiny house, it's ready to go, great, move on to the property. Pick your spot because you're off-grid. We don't have to worry about where can we or can't we get electricity to.
And you still get your privacy.
So it's peace and quiet, space. To a degree, you can pick your spot.
There's going to be a boom gate security.
You've got PIN number boom gate to get the vehicles in. And not only that, but you've got the peace of mind and safety and security of knowing that there's other people on the property if and when you should ever need them. So the residents that move in, if they're on Facebook, we're going to have we will have a contact list. Everyone will have our number on the property.
That's just one of the things, Aussie tiny houses, sorry. There's a lot more, but yeah, yeah. I'm so bursting. I'll have to ask Alice, when can we just reveal everything?
No. Yeah, so your granny flat was advertised on the Central Coast for $350 a week. And that's the thing. We're not trying to screw people here. I mean, but this is an enormous property, and when you're on the property, it feels like you're out in the middle of nowhere. We could have 50 houses dotted around that property, and you wouldn't even know. We were on that video that we released about the land where Lisa was driving. We were driving.
There
around.
is a blooper video I'm releasing of that.
Shut up. No one.
Not the land one, but the initial.
The announcement that I did from Living in Cloud 9 when we said this is what we've got an opportunity. She's put together a bloopers. No one's ever going to see it. No one needs to see me singing.
I'm putting it up.
But anyway, we did the video, the sneak peek of the land that we did.
That'd be awesome, Patricia. And you know what? It would be great to connect with everyone that we've been speaking to online. And getting to know each other.
Well, that's why we did our meetup, so we could actually meet some of these people face to face.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was that sneak peek we did of the property where we were driving around and we got, showing some of the footage of the land. And Lisa goes, oh, this is the boundary.
Patricia's going to see the bloopers.
Yeah. But when on that video where we said, oh, and this is the boundary of the property, you guys, and that's someone else. No, it's not. There's another 3 fields. We got it wrong. We got it wrong. There's another 3 friggin' fields, so as far as the eye can see. So.
Oh, dear. Alex, the owner, he's lovely. His boys, we've met his sons. We haven't met his partner yet, but lovely family.
We met one of his sons.
Very, very charming, charismatic kind of guy. So yeah, and he's our age. So yeah.
He went to the same university as me at the same time, so we probably passed each other in the bloody hall. And his career obviously went woo, and mine went oh for fuck's sake. So anyway. That's all right. I'm good with it.
It's destiny. He's bound to meet and cross paths again.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, life is not about money and assets and all that sort of stuff. It's about relationships.
I'm going to put the singing in their cut.
No one needs to see me singing.
Well, it's not really. He's just doing the Ghostbusters thing.
No, we don't need to. Are you going to call? No, we're not doing that. But anyway, yeah, so as I said, I've been trying to get this out for the last hour. The 2 opportunities, if you've got your house ready to go,
do I keep interrupting you?
$150 a week. The other option is build sites. Now, build sites on the property are going to be, there's only going to be 1 or 2 spots available, and we'll probably grab it, which is undercover build sites. There is a couple of, in that video, the sneak peek that we did, there's a sort of a big outdoor shed with open walls. That's one spot. But realistically, the build sites are going to be open spots in a field where you've got plenty of room, plenty of space to build.
Yeah, because that's the other question. It's like, how much space do you get? Can I fence it off and that kind of thing? It's not really...
No, we're not. It's not about fencing. This is my land. Fuck off. We're not fencing off the section. It's like, you go over there, we'll go over there under the trees. If we're going to work and we see each other, we'll wave, but we're not going to be 10 feet from each other, Yeah. Having said that, if you want to move onto the property with your mates and you want to have 2 of you, you and your mates want to have houses right next to each other, or if Winston and Helen wants to join us and they want their oldest children, 300 metres away to give them privacy, do it. Why not? But so it's up to you and communicating with the other people. But the build sites are going to be somewhere between $80 to $100 a month. Now
that's a good price.
And that's going to be...
That's affordable.
It's, totally reasonable. It's going to be daytime access only. You can't stay on the property. No, you can't sleep in a tent or in your caravan while you build. It's daytime access. So it's daytime access, work on your build.
Unless you get to know the people and we invite you to stay the night.
Yeah, and then you can pay us or not.
You never know. Like this.
Yeah. So that's the 2. We're keeping it really simple. $150 a week if you're living on property. Got to be a tiny house on wheels. Doesn't matter if it's 12 foot long or 30 foot long.
Paintball between tiny houses. I've never done that.
No, no. But yeah, so you're going to have.
I would lose.
So there's going to be. We're planning on setting up a closed secret Facebook group only for the residents.
I don't know.
So
He's calling it a secret face. It's not a secret.
No, it will be a secret group
But it's
because.
not secret.
No,
I mean, you have to. I know what you're saying.
It will
when
be
you
a secret
create a
group because the public don't need to know about it.
Yeah. So it's not secret from it's
It's secret from the will because only the residents need to know about it. So if we're wanting to communicate, it's only going to be the people living on the property that are going to have access to
It's just an easy way to communicate.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah. I'm out of butter. Has anyone got any butter I can borrow? Susie, my son, got some butter.
That's a good idea. Stay in an Airbnb for the weekend while you're there to build. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So you can do that. Yeah, so there's lots of options there. But as I said, is it expensive? I don't think so. You know, to have the peace and quiet.
No, I mean, I'm paying that for my share living here.
Yeah, this place is $330 a week. Plus, we just got a $600 electricity bill.
Yeah.
So
Bloody power. That's what I'm saying. It's the bills that, apart from the high rent.
Yeah.
It's the shock of when the bills come. It's like, no.
Yeah, and that's $150. It's not $150 per person. It's $150 per house. So if there's you and your partner, you know, if you've got an alternative relationship with there's three of you, you know, no questions asked. That's fine. You know, it'll make the rent even cheaper. So.
So I've finished editing the next upload, the next vlog where we actually finally make it to Sydney. And it's me doing all the talking.
For once.
Well, he's been saying, when are you going to do all the talking? Why do I do all the talking in the vlogs? So the next one's me talking. And I touch base on a bit of, you know, just my thoughts, going back to basics.
Yeah.
So yeah, just interesting. You were saying something that reminded me of what I was talking about in the vlog, which I can't remember.
As Carter says, you know, private residents only Facebook group. Yeah. Lisa's trying to convince me to get my personal training business back up and running again.
I think it would be a great idea to have Darren train everyone who's living on the property. That'd be awesome. Everyone getting up at the crack of dawn or
paying me the money,
dusk, whatever.
Paying me the money.
Come on, because I want to get fit. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, we might do something like that. And that's the other thing. The property is so big that there's obviously going to be some sections that.
No, I don't think it's per tiny. Kate's just brought up a valid question. Would that be $300 for two tinies, even though it belongs to her?
It depends, Kate. That's going to be on a case-by-case situation. If you've got two 35-foot tiny houses and it might be, I don't know, maybe $170, $180. I don't know.
Or is it just per resident, kind of like?
It's a good question. We'll need to run that past Alex.
Yeah,
we'll speak to Alex.
Good question, Kate.
Because, I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you're off-grid and you've got one tiny house there and you're going to have, but I want to add another tiny house to my thing.
Cat's having a go.
And you're going to have your second tiny house.
I watched Lisa's video, best 30 minutes I've had in ages. I could take that two ways, and one way is not a pretty picture.
Anyway, so what I was saying, Kate, is if you got your house there and you want to expand and add on a second house there to give you guys more room.
Even so, Kate, it's still a valid question and a good one.
Because you're not taking up any more resources because you're going to be off-grid, assuming. You're in the off-grid section.
Again, can't say 150 per site. So if you're putting two side by side for a site, then... Yeah.
Even though there's no designated price per site, well, I want to have... I mean, and not to
I mean, like if cows and chickens and sheep take up a holding and he's paying... Yeah, I mean, obviously...
This particular guy wants exclusive use of an acre and he wants to put fences and he's prepared to incur the cost of fencing and all that.
Yeah.
But
so two houses side by side...
Yeah, I'm sure that'd be fine. It'd probably be the same price, but don't quote me on that. But put it this way...
Chase the horses.
In terms of value... And look, it's an opportunity. It's going to suit some people, but there's a caravan park near Grant in Ulladulla I haven't heard anything from him recently, but he was advertising a few months ago. He wants to set up Australia's first tiny house village. It's a caravan park, and he's charging $150 a week for the first year.
Admittedly, though, he's got a lot of fees that he has to cover to keep that caravan park running.
Yeah, still.
He's also by the beach.
Yeah, but I'm talking about from the point of view of the people that are... I don't care about his overheads. The people
You should
that are
care
saying,
about his
no, but the people that are coming in saying, okay, will I be prepared to pay $150 to park in that caravan park? Even if he makes the whole thing tiny houses, no caravans to be seen. I said to him, I've spoken to the guy, I said, how big are the sites? And he said, 7 metres by 3 metres. So you're going to, it's like a bloody high point car park.
But there's a lot of, there's still people that would be willing to do that.
That's what I'm saying. So if people are willing to pay $150 for that, then no, $150. I'm sorry, $150 for the peace, the quiet, the environment that we're offering is going to be. It's a no-brainer.
I don't know how delayed the footage is to the conversation, etc. So yeah, I do giggle a bit through, depending on what I'm reading and what Darren's saying, and yeah.
Yeah, we'll have a boot camp, Patricia. Kate's wanting to know if she can bargain, if she can supply. Oh no, Carter is saying to Kate, you donate the kids' labour in exchange for cheaper rent. I don't know. We'll put that to Alex. I don't know. But that's the thing. If the kids want to earn some pocket money, I mean, maybe
I'm sure there's chores they could do.
Maybe there's some jobs. Maybe we can put that to the other residents.
Did we mention it last week? There's going to be sheep on the land.
We don't know.
Possibly sheep on the land just to graze.
To keep the grass down.
Yeah, we might have mentioned it.
Yeah.
We told Alex.
We suggested.
Because Carteret and Darren and I were having a conversation about, this is before even Alex mentioned the sheep.
Yeah.
Darren was joking, oh, you could have a business, you could rent out sheep or goats. And Cart said, well, there is a guy up in Queensland doing that.
Goats to you, apparently it's called.
Yeah, so we told Alex about that.
So, because that's the thing, with pets, the only pets we're really concerned about is dogs. Possibly cats, but cats need to be contained. Dogs are going to be totally on a case-by-case scenario. We spoke to a lovely lady a couple of days ago who's...
Keep them busy and out of my hair.
Lady I spoke to on the phone a couple of days ago about the land has got a Kelpie, and she said it's ridiculously well trained. I said, that's fine. It's going to come down to a case-by-case scenario. You could have a Chihuahua that's a loud, yappy, little, aggressive little shit, and we might say, no, it's not going to fit, right? But
Where's
you could
my
have...
book, Dave?
What?
Where's my book?
What book?
My book that I bought.
Oh, weeds. I don't know, where'd you put it?
It was on the table.
I didn't do it.
Keep talking.
Lisa's bought a book about edible weeds. So we might do weed walking tours around the property. Talking about the weeds, what you can eat. It's...
Darren.
What? Am I spoiling your thunder?
Yeah. As usual.
Anyway, my point is, what was I saying?
Darren thinks that I'm just his reminder that I'm his cue to talk about something. No.
Keep them busy
I
over
wanted
here.
to talk about it.
So with the, I was just going to say, with the dogs, dogs are going to be a total case-by-case situation. Before we let anyone onto the property, in fact, before anyone even views the property, we want to meet people face-to-face. So we'll do probably...
We've been going for an hour and a half.
That's all right. So we'll probably do interviews with people off-site. So we'll do interviews with people closer to the time at a coffee shop and cafe in Gisborne somewhere.
For a response.
Yeah,
we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, so just like, if you're going to apply for a property through a real estate agent, you apply,
Put
and
an application.
you get an application, and you also do a house inspection.
Yeah.
And then, you also have to provide references and that kind of thing. So
yeah, so we're probably going to ask for references.
We need to meet you. We need to sit down and meet you and get a feel. And okay, you're cool.
Yeah, to see whether we're not going to be that strict. But it's not going to be a lottery. I mean, if we don't like you and you don't like us, and we don't like if we don't get a good feeling about people, then yeah, we're going to call it and we're going to say no. Look, we don't think it's going to be a good fit.
It's not so much about liking. It's more about
whether it's going to be a good fit for them and what they need. Because we want to talk to people, okay, what are you wanting out of the land? What are you expecting? What are you needing? Because we've got things that we want and need. But anyway, speaking of Lisa's weed.
Okay, so just because we're going to be going onto this property, I've been looking at ways, because we're talking about this community garden and farmers market, and so I've been looking at who we could, and also workshops. So I was looking around and having.
And we're talking about weed,
So,
which led us on to this.
So who's out there doing it? Who's out there doing courses? Who's available for us to contact? That kind of thing.
Do you like another one?
I'm nearly done, but yeah, you can talk about.
Oh, well, you talk about your weed.
Anyway, I came across, and also not only that, like I watch a YouTube channel who, what's her name? I've forgotten her name.
Which one?
The dreadlocks girl.
Oh, I don't know.
Julia Dreadlocks, but she's changed
Julia
it to
Dredd or something?
Live Life Love or something like that.
We'll
But
put the link in the thing.
she lives in a caravan, or she has been living in a caravan for the last few years. Because, I started following her because we were moving into a caravan. But she cooks with weeds. But I didn't know the first thing about it. I thought,
Weeds, not weed. Weeds.
So,
She cooks with weeds.
Mr. Interrupt. I've been interrupting you, so that's okay. There you go. So, what was I saying again?
Julia Dredd.
Julia Dredd. No, but she's not Julia Dredd anymore.
Well, whatever. We'll put the link in the description later.
Life, love, that kind of thing. Anyway, it's an American one, but so there's that link, and then looking at this gardening and everything. And here in Melbourne, in Brunswick, Sirius, what's it called?
Series, not series.
Series in Brunswick. Both of them are kind of members of it and work there, but they also have their own business. And the two of them, I think they're partners. I don't know if they're a couple, but they wrote this book together anyway. I'll show you.
Leonie wants to get away from society. Leonie, come join us.
Weeds for garden. So it's a handbook on all the native weeds grown in Australia and what's edible.
And hopefully what's not.
And I thought it'd be a great idea to get these guys out for a bit of a workshop and a walk around the land to see what kind of weeds are on the property that
There
are
could be
edible.
an abundance of weeds that you can eat.
I mean,
Some of it might be called
talk
grass.
about free food. Go pick some weeds and eat them. So yeah, interesting.
I just read that. I saw Patricia's comment. We used to pick up the horse poo. I'm like, really? Oh, and then she bagged it up for selling for compost. Oh, there you go. I thought she took it. We used to eat the horse poo. Really? That's on the edge. But
I call it serious. I don't know why. Because you said it once and I thought, what's serious?
yeah, she hadn't heard of series, which is fine.
I had heard of it. I mean, I didn't know the name of it, but I did know there was a community out there. Looks like you guys might need a vineyard. Oh, yes. That'd be nice.
Well, someone actually, we had an email inquiry about land. Oh, is there going to be a garden, orchard? I thought, orchard, that's an interesting idea. So as part of the garden, I'm sure we'll plant some fruit trees and things. Not a whole friggin' orchard, but there'll be a section of, we don't know where we're going to put the garden, but...
I had a friend, my friend Malcolm stayed with us one weekend, and we went to the forest here locally and had a look to see if we could find some special mushrooms. And we picked...
That was a sight to see Mel strutting through the forest on her heels.
And Mel's picked this mushroom, and I put it post. I think that's a toadstool. I don't think that's a mushroom.
She's going, no,
And
she
we
carried it
got
around for about
photos
3 days.
and, with this toadstool, beautiful red toadstool.
And you sent a photo to Kyle, your son, and said, is this? And he's going, yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah, well, I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, shit. So I think she threw it on the campfire. So, yeah, if you want to join Leonie and us and want to get away from society, this is the place to do it.
Yes, well, that's part of my... there's so many reasons behind why I love the whole tiny house concept, and that's one of them. It's not that I dislike people. I love people, but I like my privacy, and I want to be left... And it's more to do with government and all that, so just leave me alone. I don't want to be part of the system. I don't want to pay you freaking bills.
Well, you want to be part of the system to the degree that you want to be.
I want to rely on myself. I want to be self-sufficient.
I mean, that's the thing.
Stop trying to rip me off, system, society.
And this is what I've come to realise over the last 5-6 years. If everything goes to shit, and if there's like a Hurricane Katrina, God forbid.
But even just the economy, if the economy just went to bust, no one would know how to fend for themselves.
Yeah, like I remember I was explaining to my kids, Emily's 12 and Mitchell's 15 now.
Can fend for yourself.
Remember the S on the end. Weeds. Weed is the answer. Weeds is the answer.
Weed is also the answer.
Yeah, I don't go on there. But anyway, I was explaining to my kids a couple of years ago, like, if there was a Hurricane Katrina and within a day, by the end of the day, the supermarkets would be stripped bare. And then what do people do? I mean, people might have maybe 2 or 3 days food in their homes, and then they're buggered.
I will clarify, cannabis oil is the answer.
It's a herb, cannabis. So,
Tiny house preppers. Yeah.
So we don't want to go all obsessive with tinfoil around the head and all that sort of stuff, but I don't know why they do that. That just came to me, this image of preppers with tinfoil around the head.
But it's a valid thing. Like, the world is turning to shit.
Well, not some parts of it.
A lot of it is.
But anyway, the point is, if we can, and for those of you, and as people get to know us, I mean, we're happy to put links here and there, but we watch some documentaries. I mean, like last one we watched was like What the Health, I think it was called. But there's a lot of benefits to be had from a plant-based diet, and I mean, if people can save money by, it's an extension of the tiny house concept. If you can save an enormous amount of money by building your own house, and
no worries, Leonie. Thanks for tuning in again.
That's all right. See you, Leonie. We're heading off soon. But if you can cut down your costs so much by having minimal bills, living in a small house, you can cut it down further by growing your own vegetables, which are probably going to be healthier and better for your body anyway.
Cart can teach us how to
keep bees.
Yeah, keep bees. I was going to say grow honey, but we don't grow honey. The bees grow them.
Grow honey.
Yeah, I know. I want to try that.
There's a plethora of options, really.
Plethora. Thank you very much.
It's not what you said this morning.
Shut up. So Cart, because we're friends on Facebook, he posted a thing on Facebook. I thought it was like a bloody murder scene, but it wasn't. It was these bees that collected honey or collected pollen from, I don't know, was it like pomegranates, like red, or berries? I don't know. And the honey is red. It looks awesome. I thought I want to try some. Why isn't that on, like, why can't you buy that? I probably can somewhere.
We just get some food colour and we can turn it blue again.
No, it's the flavour I want to try.
Oh, wow. So there we go. Anyway, people are dropping.
Yeah, Cart, you'll have to come down and visit.
Yeah, so with this idea of going up to the Sunshine Coast, we thought, we'll do a visit because I know I want to catch up with Dave at Tiny Aussie Homes to see his place, but he's up in the Gold Coast, and as Cart said, that's 4 hours drive, so we may not.
Even if it's a halfway meeting place, we can have coffee with Coffee Car, Russ and Chris.
Yeah, that's true.
And we can even have a meet-up in the halfway point.
Yeah, maybe we can do that. So
anyway, lots to discuss and organise.
We'll do that. We'll do a Facebook Live thing from the guys with Tiny Aussie Homes, Aussie Tiny Houses, sorry. So.
Well, there you go, Patricia. Yeah, I've been looking at whole food diet. I mean, we've turned vegan, and
there's no meat at all in this one.
And we're, more for health reasons as well.
Yeah, as I said last week, I want to see what it does for Lisa's arthritis.
And visit, of course, Aussie Tiny Houses. Wasn't sure if you guys are still there. So.
Yeah, we thought you might have given up ages ago. Look at this.
Yeah, bullshit. Yeah. This is. How come it says there's only 4 people there, but there's actually more than 4?
I don't know. Who knows? But the point is, yeah. So, guys, this is what we do every Friday night. People come, they go.
Yeah, it's just a casual chit chat. We can dribble on for hours.
I'm just wrapped that I don't have to, get in the car and spend $20 petrol and drive 100 kilometres home. So.
Good night, Samantha. Yeah, about an hour and a half, 2 hours is usually the limit. Yeah.
Considering when we started, it was we'll do from 8 to 8:30.
Winston's going. Good night, Winston.
All right.
No worries. And that's when we end up saying good night too. So we realise, people have a life.
Yeah, once Winston goes, it's all over. I mean, if Winston's going, well, there's no point hanging around now. Winston's gone. So
connect with Aussie Tiny Houses on their Facebook page. Check their website. Send them a message if you've got any questions.
Yeah, they're lovely guys. More than happy to help. And
thanks, Patricia. We like to think we do.
Oh, thanks, Patricia. Em's lurking. If you've
Yeah.
only just started lurking, Em, you're probably going to miss us because you're going to have to watch the rerun.
Sounds like she's been here for a little bit. So.
Yeah. So, but we're doing our thing. Hopefully by this time next Friday, we'll be able to announce that officially that we do have Tiny Houses Australia trailers available in Brisbane. We're about to sign an agreement with a company up in Brisbane. And the next push is going to be, I'm just going to go for it every state. So the next push is going to be New South Wales, South Australia and Western Australia. We want to hunt down a quality manufacturer of trailers so we can get our Tiny Houses Australia trailers available nationwide. So if anyone does have
thanks, Kat.
So if anyone does have any tips on good trailer manufacturers, let us know. But, all right.
And also through the week, also if there's anything you want us to discuss on these live
shows,
these live events, these live.
We call it a show. It's a broadcast.
So more than happy to answer any questions. So shoot us some questions through the week if you want.
A couple of years from now, we'll be looking back at these. I remember when we used to have only 10 people joining us on a Friday night.
And we're going to connect with these. I want to make a special announcement next Friday. So keep an eye on that.
What's the announcement about?
I want to confirm things.
With who?
You'll know when we know. You'll know when I know.
Are you been doing secret business that I don't know?
No. There's just some work we need to get done between now and next Friday. Anyway.
Which probably means as soon as we hit the stop button, she's going to go, this.
Yeah, you go, oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to be up fairly late tonight. I'm going to be in, where am I supposed to be tomorrow?
Bendigo.
No, not Maryborough. I'm in Maryborough tomorrow.
Oh, you're going to Bendigo.
I'm going to Maryborough tomorrow, and then overnight, and then Bendigo, a job in Bendigo on Sunday.
And I'm going to be editing all weekend.
Yeah,
this is going to be I think I told you guys last week on Backlog. So there's the Sydney vlogs, so there's the Melbourne home show vlogs, and there's the Rewind talk, and then there's the ABC radio talk, and then there's.
Well, some of those should be pretty just top of the table.
Yeah.
So
it's just like I had trouble these last 2 weeks because of the audio was stuffed in.
Yeah, she was belligerently trying to fix the bloody audio. And
Darren, yes, don't forget, he's got a radio
show remember
tomorrow.
Too.
What time?
1:33 p.m. tomorrow on the Talking Lifestyle show. I put a post up about it in the page of the group.
There's a link in the page.
It's a 10-minute interview. I don't. 10-minute live on-air interview. I don't know. It's normal.
But it's broad live across the whole East Coast. So
Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
And there's a phone number so you can call in.
Yeah, it's like a talkback, so you can call in.
So call him. Hey, that'd be good for the Aussie Tiny Homes to call in. All right, we'll let you guys go.
All right, we'll go do some work.
Yeah, we'll see you next Friday.
All right, this is what we do. This is us. Cheers, you guys.
So what do? Just go.
Just hit the red button.